What's up, everyone? We are back for Real Talk, the first episode in almost a year. I'm sorry, folks, and it's live. It's kind of weird. Um, I knew always that Geoff and I were going to go live to talk Oscars, but of course we had to bring Paige on because Paige is our girl. Like this is just what it is at this point. And we're here to talk Academy Award nominations, the surprises, the snubs, all that. But before we get into specifics, how's everyone doing tonight?
I'll go first. Overall, great. Look on screen right now. We're more diverse than the Oscar nominations were today, so that's going well. But yeah, no, we're the we're here for the people of the people. We're not your average moviegoers, but we hope that the average moviegoers will come in and tune in and just have a good time and talk with us about these Oscar nominations because they're pretty crazy. And I'm pretty satisfied with what we got. Bummed on some, but really happy on others. So I'm really excited to talk today about this.
Bummed on some, happy on others. That sounds like the exact reaction every year to the Oscar nominations.
Well, yeah, but this year there were some we'll get to them, but I literally shed a tear, and you guys heard me scream from the rooftops with that one.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, all the way from Philly here, I could hear you in Boston.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel similar to that. There are a couple things where there were some possibly glaring omissions, but it's also weird because in a lot of places it gets to be like, oh my god, like almost every single one of these definitely feels like they belong here too. Mm-hmm. Some of them are given surprises that seem like great choices. There are some omissions that are ones that I'm either like pretty disappointed by, or other ones where it's like, well, yeah, but at the same time, like on any other, like so many of them, and people ended up voting for 5, so there's only so much you could do about that, and we'll get through that. We'll talk about it.
Let's be honest, like 2022, I personally think it was a great year for film. I feel like we're kind of getting back into the groove of having so many great films and underdogs come out throughout the year and just like make a statement, and I feel like 2022 definitely did that this year. So
I think it's one of the best years for film in years, since at least 2019.
Exactly.
At least 2019 could even go as far back for me as 2007 if I really wanted to think about it, but I'm not certain.
Wow. Overall, I thought it was a good year for film. Funny enough, my favorite film of all time came out of this year. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I've stuck by my guns on that. Some people ask me why, and I just say, growing up, I was a fan of that IP, and I felt this film completely encapsulated everything I love about just film in general on top of that IP. And I'll get more into that diatribe later. But overall, I was happy with a lot of the nominations. There's definitely going to be some votes being split and helping certain people in a few categories. But I'm honestly kind of glad that they used all 10 Best Picture nom slots, because every year they don't, we bitch and complain because there's always one glaring omission, and you're like, why couldn't that be in? You have 10 slots.
And like them. There are one or two potential omissions people could say, or like in terms of like what was expected versus what we got for some of those glaring omissions, but not like previous years, not like the last 10 years or so, ever since Dark Knight, when we started having this big field. So why don't we just jump into it? I know we have a shorter show today. We have to be out of here at 9-ish. So
yeah. Speaking of which, if you're watching this on Twitch, or even if you're not, be sure to check out Taylor Plays God of War on our Twitch channel, or it's God of War Ragnarok, excuse me. That's why we have a hard out at 9. So be sure to check that out on our Twitch. Watch it live. Talk to him in the chat. He'll probably talk a little bit about his personal thoughts on the Oscars while playing some God of War Ragnarok. So check that out. He always does a good stream.
I put nearly 50 hours into God of War Ragnarok. I beat it. I
Jesus Christ.
love that game.
I just feel like that's an interesting comparison to play God of War while talking Oscars. I mean, hey, you might get some new followers just from that.
To be fair, what Taylor normally does is he talks about the current. He'll talk about his
Yeah, I know
thoughts
he
on the
does
current
that.
entertainment landscape, and it's fun. Even and if you haven't seen his wrestling streams, I'm dying for just Geoff to give him permission to make quiz show in WWE 2K22 because that would be hilarious.
I'll fight you.
A couple things. One, I've never been asked about that, so I never tried to give permission.
All you have to do is message him after seeing all the posts about it. That's it. That's all.
Oh, I'm good. If he wants me, he'll ask me. Listen, he knows where to find me.
But no, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get rolling in. What we're gonna talk about?
Let's get it started in here.
809, like big,
so
nomination, like categories. So, which one do you guys want to jump in first?
Well, first off, let's talk about the most nominations. By studio. Disney leads the way with 22, followed by A24 18, Netflix at 16, Warner Bros. Discovery at 12, and Paramount at 9.
And now, let's clarify, Disney's, for those that still might not remember this, Disney encapsulates Disney, Pixar, as well as everything under Fox, 20th Century Studios, as well as Searchlight. Now, obviously, Fox is removed from those names, but everyone still knows them as Fox, so it's good to reference.
Yes. So, thanks to Banshees of Inisherin, Disney has a giant lead there on top of Avatar, Wakanda Forever. Those 3 films alone put them in the teens, which is insane.
Yeah.
Dude, A24. I'm sorry. Let's talk about this.
I was about to get to that. I was about to plug that beautiful article you did over on Bite Size Breakdown, where Paige just talked about this might have been the best year A24 has ever had in film, and I think the amount of nominations they received only co-signs that. Go ahead get on your pedestal, Paige.
Yes. Oh my God, I am an A24 shill. Fucking love this production company. They're so diverse. What they're able to do with such a small budget and just it's just so amazing. I'm so proud of all of the films and all the love they got this year, especially Everything Everywhere All at Once, leading the nominations with 11 noms. Like, that's insane. That's awesome. See the link right below, guys. Check it out. I mean, this was a great year for A24, and it just made me so happy to see these unique films get love because they deserve them. So yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out the article, bitesizebreakdown.com, it's right on the homepage. It's literally titled 2022 A24 gets an A, because that shit gets an A plus in my book, especially after these awards. So definitely check it out.
Nice.
And to be fair, Everything Everywhere All at Once is the reason why A24 has those 18 noms, because it accounts for 11 of them. 11 of them, which also happens to be the most nominated film of the Academy Awards this year, with 11 nominations, followed by All Quiet on the Western Front with 9, The Banshees of Inisherin with 9, Elvis with 8 somehow, and The Fabelmans with 7.
As someone who's followed a lot of Oscar pundits and following a lot of the guild stuff and all the critics groups and all this stuff, I'm not surprised by pretty much any of the Elvis nominations. In fact, I think it was actually expected, if you to those actually paying attention, because it was a movie that did really well critically overall. It made it made bank. It was a really big hit for a lot of people. Every time there was any talk about Academy screenings from various people, the Academy went gaga over it. They loved it. So yes, there are things that people don't like. I'm not necessarily someone who adores the movie. I wouldn't get in my top 10, but I do think that it is really great in a lot of ways. I think that is not surprising. I think that the most surprising thing on that list, specifically, we're not talking about stuff of surprises there, is that Fabelmans didn't actually have more. Reason why I say that is it got pretty much every major category that it should have gotten, except for one. And I say that because we got Judd Hirsch, and Dano was a long shot, but that would have been awesome to see him in there too. but it's really hard because that was an incredible category. We'll get to that. Film editing. It didn't get a film editing nomination, and I realized that after we talked about like what do we want to talk about for surprises and subs, which that we'll get to later. Because film editing is a pretty big bellwether of movies that tend to have the upper hand to predict would win Best Picture.
Nope, I completely agree. Yeah, usually the tentpole films that are in Best Picture will get that nomination, as well as obviously like adapted or original screenplay, as well as like director and such like that. But I mean, we'll get into it, but kind of hot take. I just think The Fabelmans is all right. It's a good film. Don't think it's the best it didn't make my top 10. And
no, it's
not Steven Spielberg's best work by far. So
it's my number 2. So I have 2 lists. I have one based on quality, one based off of personal preference. It's number 2 on personal preference. That has not changed.
We'll talk about it when it gets closer with we talk about Best Picture.
All right, why don't we actually talk about categories now? I just wanted to throw that out there from there. But yes, also Paige, everything the way you described about The Fabelmans. What's your mom's name again?
My mom?
Her first name? Yeah.
Kendra.
Well, everything that you had to say about The Fabelmans, not necessarily your favorite and whatnot. That's how I feel about you. I don't think it's Kendra's best work either.
You crazy man. You crazy. You crazy man. Nonsense. Does Steven Spielberg have a tattoo with his mom's initials? Doubt it. I'm dedicated.
No, he has a movie about his mom's initials.
Yeah, fuck.
Terrence, I'm glad to see you in the chat, bud. We gonna have to fight next time I see you.
Thank you, Terrence.
All right, let's get going.
All right, but we'll go in the order that the Academy has listed on their website as right now. So the first category we'll go over is actor in the leading role. Nominees being Austin Butler from Elvis, Colin Farrell from The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for Aftersun, and Bill Nye for Living.
Can I just take it away and say this is the first time ever in Oscar history that these are all first-time nominees in a category. Like, that is fucking insane. Like, that's really cool that these 5 guys nominated have never been nominated before. So it's like everyone...
Such different backgrounds, too, to have been their first nomination. Paul Mescal, he's been in, like, 3 indies and 1 Hulu limited series, and that's it. And then you got Bill Nye, who, an industry veteran, BAFTA award-winning actor. He's someone vet who's like, this is something that's been building to for a very long time for him. And then, Fraser, there's that whole comeback story with everything going in there. And Colin Farrell is...
That's just a shock to me, considering how many awards films he's been in. And it's just...
He's somewhat... So... And then the last one, of course, being Butler, another brand new guy, but he has a whole history with television, and apparently also changing his accent when he plays a role too long. But let's talk about Colin Farrell for a second there, because this is a guy who had, it seems, in a way, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, just from the way. I'm not necessarily bringing up this guy's name, fan or not a fan, not supporting or whatever time. So he has this Johnny Depp effect, which let me go into detail on that. He was a pretty boy, a very handsome guy, being given all of these sort of roles that people wanted him to have, that are like the star of blockbusters or appearing in all these big things, when what actually works for him are more character stuff and the weird stuff. Like, I think something like The Batman is a great blend of those two things. He's in a big blockbuster movie as a pivotal character. Yeah, but he's also the fucking Penguin. He's wild and weird in that. Like, he's such a nuanced, interesting actor.
Yeah, can I say that, like, to me personally, he had the best year of film.
Overall, yes.
Overall.
He has 4 movies that came out, and all of them
are different.
Yeah, the worst of his 4 movies was 13 Lives. And that's mostly because it's just forgettable.
It's forgettable, but good. That's the thing about it. It's not like it's bad. It's just still good.
It's totally solid. It's efficient. But I don't really remember a whole lot about it, but it was fine when I watched it. So he has that. He has the Batman. He's going to actually be building off of that. People loved him in
his
it.
own show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for the show on HBO Max, one of the only things still going on HBO Max. After Yang, which is another incredible A24 film this year. Paige, I'm hopeful that you saw it. It's gorgeous.
Still haven't watched it. Too many deaths this year to bring myself to watch it.
It's on 90. It's 90 minutes. It's on Showtime. It's on my Vudu. I'll share it. Whatever. No. Then of course, Banshees of Inisherin, his crowning achievement of the year. I think to me. I got to see that in a packed theater opening night at the Philly Film Festival, and he played like gangbusters there, so I can imagine him with the industry.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched mine and just review for the Banshees of Inisherin, go back and watch it on the channel.
Yeah.
It lives on here.
I'm assuming I'm the only one here who's seen Living. Am I the only one here who's
I've not
seen
seen Living, right? I have not.
I have a screener.
But it's an adaptation of a character.
Ikiru,
right?
yeah. Ikiru, which I own Ikiru from Kurosawa, and it is one of the greats, like one of the great films. And it's so interesting and unique. And Living is that movie. It's just British.
No, I definitely need to see
there's little bits that are just slightly not, it doesn't hit quite the same. But at the same time, like, it's a wonderful movie, and he's so richly deserving of such an odd, new, like, reserved performance. A lot of reserved performances aren't normally, acknowledged by the Oscars too.
Yeah,
go for bigger stuff.
Exactly.
True.
And I mean, we can also talk about like Austin. Well, okay, no, I'm gonna say the one I want to say because this is the one everyone heard me screaming from the rooftops, and I literally shed a tear this morning when I was on Twitter listening to the nominations while getting ready for work, and it's Paul Mescal for After Sun. This was my second favorite film of the year, and I'm just so happy. Yes, he's a newcomer, but it just shows right now that the Academy is getting younger because we have two fresh faces in Austin Butler and Paul Mescal, and they're two up-and-coming actors that are going to be here for a while to stick around, and they have very bright futures.
Both have major roles coming up. Exactly,
and just like, haven't seen his work in Normal People, that I don't know what the fuck you're doing because that man, he is just brilliant, and I'm so happy that he's getting all the recognition that he deserves because even though After Sun is not the most entertaining film of the year, it's so much more than that because it's so deep and it shines a light on depression in not a negative way, and it just shows like a passage of time with a father and daughter, and especially like a young guy that doesn't have kids, like the way he was able to portray himself in that role. It's just such a beautiful fucking film, and I'm just so happy he got nominated, guys. So I'll go off my high horse.
I want to throw it out there. He's great. Other A24 movie he was in this past year, God's Creatures, as well. And the other thing is, we're about 1/3 into the stream, and we're almost done talking about the first category.
Yeah, I was going to say we're going to focus on the big six. We're going to focus on the big six.
Yeah, we're going to focus now.
So, if you guys want, real quick, do you guys just want to say who do you guys think is going to take it, or who is between?
I'll start. For me, I think Fraser. There are certain times in history where the Academy kind of gives career achievements, and I think considering what Brendan Fraser has gone through and just how he has made a comeback over the last 5 years, this is going to be a recognition of everything that he's done for the Hollywood community, whether it be calling out being sexually assaulted or just being what. Let's be honest. At one point, he was the young face of Hollywood for a minute, and he was fantastic at it. So I like the comeback story. Give me Fraser.
I want to say Fraser, but I know Farrell has also been sweeping a ton of precursor awards too. We're not sure Austin is making a big play late for it. And I really think it's very tight between the three. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them goes, but I am gonna say Fraser. But Farrell, I think, might be the strongest. Other one. It's like this. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, Farrell's it's definitely behind him. Yeah, it's definitely a 3-man horse race. I think I mean, as much as I would love to see Paul Mescal win, that's unfortunately I don't think it's happening. It's between Brendan Fraser and Colin Farrell and our Elvis man himself, Austin Butler. I mean,
Austin Butler.
yes, I wanted to be Brendan Fraser, but I think Colin Farrell could take it, and I would be happy either of them do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Fraser on this one, though.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to support. So we're going to focus for the main part on the big six, and then we'll go back at the end with what time we have left and talk about everything else. So with the acting awards, directing, if we have time.
Let's go.
So we're going to focus on acting, directing, and best picture. So
we know what the big six are. Just go.
Yes. With that, we're going to go to supporting actor. That's the next on their list.
Oh my God, you're still doing it.
And that is Brendan Gleeson from The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry from Causeway, Judd Hirsch from The Fablemans, Barry Keoghan from The Banshees of Keogh, thank you. The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ki Hu Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I finally saw last week.
This is, I feel like Hirsch and Henry, I'm so glad they got in.
Yes.
I'm so glad they got in. And, Gleason and Keown were pretty much like guaranteed, but, it's really great to see them actually Oscar nominees.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I speak for a very large number of people when I say this is and always has been, since it premiered at South by Southwest, Ki Hui Kwan's year.
Yeah.
And
I think we can all agree on that.
It's in my heart. It's in my heart. It's in my mind. This is my prediction. This is what I want. This is what people need. I listened to his reaction on the phone with, I think his name is Kyle Buchanan, journalist pundit, that they posted on Twitter of him having an interview. He's like, I now get to be called Academy Award nominee Ki Hui Kwan. This is what I would see on trailers. This is what I would see with other movie stars, like Academy Award nominee Leo DiCaprio. And I get to be that. Isn't that so cool? This, you can't not love this guy. I'm so glad. I mean, it sucks what happened, but I'm in the years leading up, but I'm so happy for him. And what's great is it's not just a narrative, because the performance,
it's real.
He deserves it. He deserves it so much, and I'm so happy he was able to find a film that was perfect for him, and he's getting all the recognition for it because he deserves it. I mean, he plays such a big role in that film, and I mean, he's running away with this award. I mean, Brendan Gleeson can come out of nowhere. I mean, he is great in that film. I mean, Banshees is definitely
it's the top film of one of the top films of the year.
The top film of the year, but it's also a ensemble film.
He can't, and there's one reason why, and it's the same reason in a different category.
Well, they're going to cancel each other out.
Exactly. Maybe. He and Barry are going to cancel each other out. The only time it hasn't happened.
Brendan has a way bigger chance than Barry, but I mean, I'm so happy. Yeah, I'm so happy though that Brian Tyree Henry got nominated because another A24 Causeway. I don't know why I said Causeway. Causeway is another A24 film, and that film is beautiful, and he has such a soulful performance in it that I just love him. I think he's such a cool person. I don't know him, but his vibe, he just seems so awesome, and he deserves all that love. And I'll just say one thing before I let you talk, Matt, is the only thing I am disappointed on was that Mark Rylance did not get nominated.
I love that he didn't get nominated. I love that he didn't get nominated because I hate that.
He is hell in that movie.
He is the scene
stealer in that movie.
Yeah, he was horrifying, and I hate that movie, so I'm glad he didn't get nominated.
He deserved
it. I really dug it.
Yeah, I did too. The movie just didn't get enough recognition this year, I guess, from credit. No, I don't want
MGM that distributed it.
Yeah, but it just didn't get enough love from obviously any of the other award shows or anything like that. So I think that really hurt its chances. But damn, that movie is so fucking he's that movie. If he wasn't in it, I don't know if that movie would have been as good as it was. He steals every scene. He is just terrifying. It's awesome. But other than that, though, I mean, we all know who's running away with this award. But
yeah.
fair.
what do you got?
But I'll start off with this. Being able to talk about this category allows me to talk about one of my personal surprises, and that was my boy Judd Hirsch being nominated. There was something about his limited role that just swept me off my feet when I'm watching The Fabelmans. Just the family, it'll take this. Oh God, he makes such an impact on that film with so little time that I was just blown away. And
yeah, he gives the best performance in that whole film, and that's why everyone's talking smack that Paul Dano was snubbed. I can see that because you know what, he is in that film a lot more than Judd Hirsch, but Judd Hirsch has that media role and he runs away with it for that 8 minutes of screen time. So
yeah, so
I'd probably actually choose. Just wanted to say, I'd probably choose if I had to have one of those supporting actors, even more than Dano. Hell, I would choose David Lynch as John Ford. He was incredible in the end there. Oh.
That would have been crazy if he did get nominated.
But
we all agree who's taking this award. So
yeah, it's a clean sweep, easy giveaway. But I mean, considering I just saw Everything Everywhere All at Once last week for the first time, to be fair, it was just one of those. I was in school still when it came out. I just graduated, so I just have a lot of free time now.
But it lives up to the hype, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Let's go next.
Yes, good. Okay.
That's all I need to hear.
Go Birds.
Moving on, we're going to do actress in a leading role, and I'm actually going to bring up a few of our snubs because the nominees were Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, before we really dive into those, Geoff had a snub of the entire cast of Women Talking because I've seen it. There are several performances in this that can be that could have
categorized in either actress character. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paige had She Said, which I actually agree with. That was one of my favorite movies of this past year. I love journalism drama. And I had Danielle Deadwyler and Viola Davis, aka Black actresses, because they had two of the best roles this past year in The Woman King and Till. So
I mean, yeah, I think those. Let's talk about yours, Matt, because I think those are the two that at least reside with this category. Yeah, because at least for mine, like she said, mine's more for adapted screenplay. That I think that was snubbed there, and Geoff, yours is probably more for supporting actress, right? Because it's such an ensemble.
Supporting actress mostly, but it could also go into actress because it's I don't know. It's just hard to say who counts as like lead or supporting with them. They're very fluid, and the Academy does love category fraud, like having Michelle Williams as best actress instead of supporting actress because that's how she was campaigned. Like there are so many good actors in it, especially like Jessie Buckley and Claire Foy. Rooney Mara is ostensibly, I guess you could put her as the lead, even though it's a true ensemble, and like she could easily fit in there. And look, here's the deal. The reason why, let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you had to choose one of these as the elephant in the room, let's talk about Ana de Armas, who Blonde is also that Blonde
fucking
is
horrible.
So aggressively, irresponsibly bad.
I wouldn't think it's bad. I just think it's a rough film, and it knew what it wanted to be. Obviously, I think that's what they were going for with this film. I think there's a lot of editing issues with the film. I wouldn't say this film is bad. I think it's a very hard watch, but there's no denying that her performance is outstanding. That's what makes that film so great.
But Paige, you want to know what else is hard?
Good, but it's in service of a completely fictional narrative that puts someone in the space of being a victim without being,
I completely agree. I mean,
like we don't know that, and it's just like this one is dead, so you want to make people like show how much she hates herself, and maybe you should hate her too. And it's just the kind of things they put in there, and like that's my issue. It's more the film as a whole, and her performance being good. It's more of what is it in service to. So, yeah. Oh my God, we lost Paige. She just walked away in the middle of me talking. She's coming back.
So
sorry, my dog is doing whatever the hell she wants. But yeah, nope. I agree. I mean, I also feel the same way about Michelle Williams. I think she should have been in supporting. I get this is how they campaigned her, so that's why she's 100%. In there. But I'm sorry, Matt Snubbs should have been nominated, and it's very disappointing that there was only that this was a very white year for Oscars, obviously, because it was what did we say, like six?
I believe six because
out of the 20 nominations
is white Cuban. Out of 20, we have just over 20. We have like 27% or something, 27.5%.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ana de Armas was just one of her surprise. So
yes, that was definitely a surprise to me. I did not see that coming a mile away, but I mean,
I did from the SAG and Globes and
that's
stuff.
What I was just gonna say. She got nominated for the SAG, so. But yeah, Matt, let's talk about your snubs because I'm sorry, I haven't even seen Till, but I have seen clips of Danielle Deadwyler's performances.
Your argument for Ana de Armas is exactly why Deadwyler should have been nominated for Till, because ultimately that is a hard film to watch, but guess what? It's still really good. It is really good, and it's carried by her performance. Without her performance, that film is weaker, but still overall good, and she's just fantastic in it. The conviction
that's why I'm so shocked that Ana de Armas got nominated, because how does she get nominated for Blonde and Danielle doesn't get nominated for Till? But like I said, I guess just not enough people saw it because, damn, she Netflix really deserved pushing
that. More because Till was my God, Till was that United?
Orion.
It wasn't United Artists.
Yeah,
Orion.
Pictures. So it's technically in the MGM United Artists realm.
Yeah, they no, because it went out with the Universe. I thought, unless I'm just wrong.
No, Orion.
Till. Yeah, then you're right. Then I'm sorry. Till just didn't have the backing, and it was constant. Like I was seeing constantly how it was. Yeah, you're right. United Artists. I was clicking at the same time. She wasn't always winning nearly as much. She wasn't even being in like the top couple that are sometimes listed from critics groups and other awards groups and stuff. And so I just based off of that, like she felt like she should be there. She should, but I wasn't 100% surprised that she wasn't, just based on kind of seeing how the precursor things went.
Neither was I, but ultimately, neither one, but ultimately seeing all who was nominated when I saw De Armas, I was like, yo,
I was shocked. So I was like, definitely did not have this shit on my, she was not on my radar at all to be nominated, to be completely honest with you. She was like, that's why I'm baffled. This year for women acting, this year for women's, like both categories, supporting and best actress, is like a bag of riches. There's it's one of the strongest categories, because this year so many women gave such phenomenal performances. And like if you compare it to best actor was a lot weaker this year than best actress. Best actress is the year that it's a two-woman horse race right now between Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh, I think. But I think
it's absolutely a back and forth between the two of them.
Mm-hmm. 110%.
Oh, but can we also talk about, Geoff? I would like you to talk about the film Talezi, because that whole thing, that's crazy.
That's such a wild. Yeah, so they didn't have like any Oscar campaign, it seemed, and so Andrea Riseborough it was last year. It's been streaming for a bit, I think. She started self-funding it, like this little campaign, turning into a guerrilla thing of getting people that she's connected with to watch it and love it, and then like push for her and just talk about how great she is. And it happened just before voting started. She was able to get it going before voting started. So the Academy started taking notice of her during that voting period. And look, it worked. That grassroots effort. It shows you can get people to just do something they're actually passionate about. And look, she's really good too.
She's really good.
There are people.
She's very underrated because she is in so many great things and just no one ever talks to her. But I think it's because she's so good. Everyone just she becomes her characters that people just don't know who she is sometimes.
And she's really good in To Leslie. There are people saying it's oh, this is one of the greatest single performances of all time. Okay, hold on. Pull your roll a little bit. But she is very good. The movie itself it's fine. It's a totally average type of movie, but she is a great performance in it. So that's fun to see her get in through there. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that is that, and that's showing that in the Academy, you don't need this big, huge Oscar campaign. That word of mouth really does go a long way, and the fact that she was supported by so many of her peers, who are the voters of the Academy, shows a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I haven't seen the film, but I've heard people talking about her performance, and kudos to her because that's awesome. That the fact that this is the little film that has no money backing it at all, and the fact that she was able to get a nomination is just remarkable. Yes. So who do we think's taking this one, guys?
I'm gonna say a toss up between Blanchett and Yeoh. It's too hard to call at this point.
I mean, those are the two best of the year for me. But I would say that I think that Blanchett will win. I want Yeoh to win. I think that Tar will have Best Actress as its big prize that it'll get. The 6, I believe that it's nominated for. I think that they'll give Best Actress to her, and it'll lend more to the possibility of Best Director or Best Picture for Everything Everywhere All at Once. One of the sort of
who I wish should have been nominated and should have won was Mia Goth. Where the fuck was she?
Pearl. Oh,
where the fuck was she, man?
I haven't watched it yet.
You're crazy. Get out of here. Literally.
Paige, I own it. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, you need to check that out because
Paige. Someone else incredible that you should watch. It's a horror-related one. Rebecca Hall in Resurrection.
Yes, it's on my list to watch. I need to watch it. That woman is underrated just in general in Hollywood. She's amazing. But Mia Goth should have been nominated. I'm sorry. Yeah, because man. But yes, it's gonna be Cate Blanchett, but I really hope it's Michelle Yeoh.
All right, this is actually the category where I don't think they got anything wrong personally, and that is actress in a supporting role. Where nominees are Stephanie Zhu, Jamie Lee Curtis, Carrie Condon, Hong Chow, and Angela Bassett. Yeah.
So I'm gonna build off of your comment there. This is one of those things, like I said, similar to Best Supporting Actor.
It's the strongest. It's the strongest category.
It's a category where you have these 5, and they all feel right. But even with that, 1 or 2 of them could have been swapped out with other people that were just as deserving. I think that one of them is something that is Paige's pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, one of my snubs.
A specific thing, and it's something that I was about to lean into.
You can lean into
if you want to find the picture. I'm waiting for him to pick it. Yeah.
Yes.
Dolly DeLeon, Paige.
Oh, man.
Dolly DeLeon.
I am so bummed. I mean, I honestly thought the 2 Everything Everywhere All at Once actresses were going to cancel each other out, and that we would have gotten Dolly in here because she dominates the 3rd act of Triangle of Sadness. And the fact that Triangle of Sadness did a lot better than I think a lot of people were expecting to do in the nominations it kind of just it bums me out that they got all these other nominations and she didn't get in there because man, she that 3rd act it would not be as good as it was without her. It bummed me out because I feel like she really deserved to be in there. But like we were saying earlier, Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress are the 2 strongest and hardest categories of the year to get into because the women this year.
Supporting was hard. Best Actor was too. This is a rare year where every acting category really was you have a few locks and it's all these incredible performances and it could have been any one of them. And all these feel right, even when we know there are other things we wish could have been in there at the same time. It's rare, I think, to feel that way for the Oscars.
And also, too, I mean, this is the last category of acting that we're talking about, and it's pretty crazy that out of the 20 nominees, this is 16 of them is their first time being nominated.
Yeah.
16 of the 20 first time ever receiving. The Academy is growing. As much as I did say earlier that the Academy is still pretty white, which sucks because we had two big snubs with Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler. But I mean, 16 out of the 20 getting first time nominations. It's pretty remarkable. I'm pretty excited about that.
So
I agree 110%. If we're talking about who we think is gonna win this category, I think it's the person who's just been running away with the award in almost every award show, and that is Angela Bassett. Ultimately, I think Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Zhu cancel each other out. Carrie Condon, I would love to see her or Hong Chau win because Carrie Condon was killer in Banshees, and Hong Chau is just amazing in The Whale. There's not a bad performance on this list, but ultimately, I think, like I said, with The Whale, this is another legacy win because she's been snubbed a lot throughout her career, only been nominated once more. And maybe some people this makes up to Chadwick for losing, like me.
I see some people say, and maybe not totally incorrectly, this will be the first Academy Award win for a performance in a trailer.
Well, you know what's crazy to me though is I think this is the hardest category to pick the winner. If it weren't for
the fact that Bassett has been just winning every single other award.
Bassett?
Yeah, isn't it
Bassett, sorry. If it weren't for the fact that Bassett is winning every single other award, I would agree with you, but she's basically been sweeping award season. So
I thought Carrie Condon was pretty high on my list for a while. So
yes,
and Hong Chau for The Whale. I mean, she was also in The Menu this year, which was amazing.
I actually like that performance better.
Yes.
I actually think it's between those two. I think it's between Carrie Condon and Hong Chau. That's who I'm going with between the two. But like I said, I think this is the hardest category to pinpoint. I think you can go any way. I think the two Everything Everywhere All at Once actresses unfortunately are going to cancel each other out. But I mean, I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you, where this is going.
Geoff.
I don't necessarily believe all the time in the idea of like canceling out. There have been performances where we still won, like in
Judas and the Black Messiah.
Judas and the Black Messiah most recently. But then, I mean, Steven Soderbergh was nominated in 2 different movies for Best Director in the same year, Traffic and Aaron Brockovich, and he still won for Traffic. People didn't end up splitting. They all leaned more to one than the other. Like, sometimes that happens. So I don't necessarily believe it. It happens with plenty of TV shows, too, in a category where one show has multiple performances nominated. One normally still wins. But having said that, my heart says Stephanie Sue. My mind says Angela Bassett. But this also is an incredibly close one. This is all incredibly close.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back like the week before the Oscars and go through all of these again and like actually pick who we think is going to win. Right now we're kind of just like talking about the nominees, but I think we should do another show of actually picking who we think is going to win, kind of in a sense.
Yeah,
we shall see. But on to the next one. Second to last category we're going to talk about in full, and that is directing. Nominees are Martin McDonagh for Banshees of Inisherin, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah, anything stand out for you guys? I was kind of surprised that Ruben got in, which I was so happy though about because I love Triangle of Sadness. It was in my top 10 of the year. I saw it at New York Film Festival. I'm very pleased they got in there. I mean, Banshees, personally, I think is more of a screenplay win. I think that's more of a dialogue heavy than a director type film.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, this to me, this is between Daniels and Steven Spielberg. I think
Yep.
personally, I think Daniels take this and fucking run with it because I think they deserve it. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm sorry, everyone. I love Steven Spielberg. He's one of my favorite directors. This is not his best work. This film is, but the Academy is going to eat this shit up because it's about love for cinema. So that's where I'm kind of nervous on where this could go. But I really do think it's between the Daniels and Steven Spielberg. But
Paige, I agree with you, but I will say this: whichever one of those two wins this award, that tells us who's going to win Best Picture. Because I think the opposite one is going to win Best Picture.
I completely agree.
In the Academy's history, normally there's been a few circumstances where this hasn't been the case, but normally, whoever wins Best Director, their film loses Best Picture.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see.
But not all the time. But yes,
that's what I said. Normally,
recently. It's split more in recent years.
Outside of, I think it was, what's the Guillermo del Toro film? Shape of Water. He won
Shape
both.
Of Water.
Yeah, he won.
And then Parasite. Those were the two recently that broke out of that.
But then there was in 2014 there was also Birdman for Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu.
Yes.
I mean,
so it's every couple of years, but yes, they have been splitting it more often than not. I mean, last year, Power of the Dog's only Oscar win of 10 nominations was Best Director.
Best Director.
You know what?
So
it was a woman. And you know what really sucks is that enough women did not get enough love this year. And it's really a bummer to see. I mean, this year it was a tough year for director because I mean we also didn't get James Cameron, the fucking goat that has made the most money. This film is the highest grossing film of the year.
That's totally fine, honestly.
Oh no, I'm fine with it. I didn't have
fine with it too, but he was another big guy who could have gotten in there.
Yeah. She said the Woman King, where women talking, where are these female directors and why aren't they getting the love? Why aren't they getting enough recognition for the work they did this year? I mean, I'm sorry, it's just kind of annoying. Women need more opportunity, but their work needs to get recognized more. So I mean, that's where I stand on that.
Fair enough. All right. So who do you think's gonna win?
Real quick. Yeah, who do you guys think? I mean, I don't know.
I'm saying Spielberg. Go ahead, Geoff.
You got Spielberg?
I was going to say Spielberg gets it.
I was going to say Spielberg gets it, and the Daniels win everything. And I think Spielberg gets it, and Everything Everywhere wins Best Picture. That's where I'm at right now.
Honestly, fuck it. I think the Daniels are taking it.
I see a world where I could see a world where Everything Everywhere All at Once gets picked.
Breaks the mold.
Director goes to the Fablemans, and screenplay goes to Banshees.
That would be beautiful. That's how you share the fucking love, Academy, if you do that.
And that's normally what they do, Paige.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't.
A lot of times that's how it ends up.
I'd be happy if that happened, but let's go to the big one, guys, and then we can kind of talk. And then if we go through this fast enough, maybe we can hit some topics that people were talking about in the comments, and then also maybe just touch upon adapted and original screenplay. First, let's go with the big one.
Yes.
This is the biggest one of the night.
Yes. So we are going to talk about Best Picture now, where nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
Yeah, damn. I mean, I'm happy they utilized that 10, and I am a little shocked that The Whale didn't get in.
I'm not.
Personally. But
I think it was too divisive, and it was really all focused on the actors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened to it. But I mean, it's pretty cool to see women talking in it because, it is a film about women sitting in a barn talking.
Even though Frances McDormand didn't get an actress nomination for
based
Women
on
Talking.
True Story.
She is a producer, so she did. Frances McDormand, another Oscar nomination as of
yes.
Exactly. I mean, I'm pretty excited. I mean, I'm really happy. Also, I think it's pretty cool that we have technically 4 blockbusters on this list. I mean, you can consider Everything Everywhere All at Once a blockbuster because it's the highest grossing A24 film with over $100 million at the box office. You also have Top Gun Maverick. You have Avatar: The Way of Water and Elvis. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry, like, dude, I think a lot more people are gonna watch the Oscars this year because a lot more people have seen these films, which is pretty cool because the numbers have not been doing so great. And I gotta figure out how the hell I'm gonna watch it because I don't have cable. I just have all streaming services. So this should be interesting because I gotta watch.
Do a 1 week free trial of YouTube TV. There you go.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna jump into one of my surprises, the Elvis life, because this movie is not a Best Picture worthy film at all.
I completely agree. I think it's okay. Fine. It's the performance that is great in the film, not.
It's this year's Joker to me. It is a performance-driven film, and if you take that performance out of it, the movie's utter trash. So,
I really dig Elvis. I also don't think it's one of the 10 best of the year. I see how it's charmed a lot of people, following and hearing all that stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think that it should be up there. So it's fine. I mean, I really like the movie. I'm not especially passionate about it for anything close to a Best Picture.
Yeah, I am pretty shocked that it got in there. But you know what's also pretty cool is we have 2 international films in Best Picture with All Quiet on the Western Front. Yes. And I mean, okay, maybe Triangle of Sadness isn't an international film.
Sadness is definitely internationally produced. It has some actors that we know, but it's also like it's not made in America. It is an international film.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic 2 is. I mean, this is all joke. The Oscars anyway. It doesn't matter because things like Moonfall and Sonic 2 didn't get nominated at all. And fuck the Oscars because those things are transcendent. They'll live the test of time.
Yeah. No, I'm curious. Did Moonfall get any Razzies?
Yes, it did.
No.
Okay, it deserved those, but yeah, no.
But a child got a Razzie nomination. Fuck the Razzies.
Yeah, I mean they just.
Anyways,
all right.
But
let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of.
I'll pull up a surprise that both of you had in this Top Gun Maverick being in this category.
Well, not for this category. Not for this
category.
No.
We both.
Okay.
Adapted screenplay.
This film, yes. No, Top Gun Maverick deserves to be in the Best Picture nomination, hands down. It's one of the best films of the year. I'm not even a huge Top Gun fan. Really but Top Gun Maverick.
I don't even like the first Top Gun. I think
that's what I'm saying.
I hate the first Top Gun.
But this film is.
This one is really great.
This movie improves the original. That's what a good sequel does. It improves the original.
I honestly think it may have a fucking chance, dude, of walking away with that.
If I'm being honest, a dark horse for it.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I think this is a really tough one because it's either going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is the most unique original film of the year, which I think deserves all the love and should take it. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to win. But you also have the fucking Academy. They all love Steven Spielberg and they love films about cinema. And I really think that is a film that the Academy just loves. And once I walked out of the theater, that's the first thing I said was that film is probably going to win Best Picture, even though it's not my favorite. But then again, Top Gun Maverick, what it did for theaters and the movie-going experience, I don't know.
It's weird. It's wild because people are more online talking about what it did for theaters with on Top Gun, but no one talked about no one talks about it the same way for Avatar, which is doing the same similar thing. And the reason why is I think we're also chronically online, and I think that Avatar just hits a lot of people that are not online all the time, and they just go and watch a movie, and so. I think I want it to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. Everywhere All at Once is the kind of movie that when I watched it, I realized during it that I was in the mood of experiencing one of my favorite movies ever. I haven't rewatched it since, but so I'm not saying it is one. I had to. It's a lot of movie. I can't. You have to sit with it.
It's a
sometimes.
lot. You know what? That's what I love so much about it. It's so many different genres in one.
I love
The
it. It's
storytelling,
everywhere.
it's everything. It's fucking everything.
That's what I want to win.
Yes,
I
same.
easily could see Fablemans or Banshees getting it.
That was my other thing. Is I actually can rarely see Banshees because I think Banshees is an Academy type film to win, and it's also very different and very original, just like Everything Everywhere All at Once. And so yeah, I mean, this is a great fucking year for Best Picture nominations.
What a crop!
A crop! Exactly, man. You said it right there, Geoff. What a crop! I mean, the only one I don't care for is Elvis. Other than that, I think everything else deserves to be there.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left. So yeah. So with that, I'm gonna go through the last 3 snubs slash surprises we're gonna get through. Paige, we got through all of yours, so it's really
well, Geoff and I can literally just talk real quick about how we think Top Gun Maverick being. Oh, sorry. Yes,
but Geoff actually has 2 more still, so I gotta give him.
Get Geoff's out there then.
So Geoff, I got your snub, the one snub you have left.
Fuck the international film category. This movie should have been in there. Hell, this movie should have taken Ruben Östlund's spot in Best Director. They should have taken Avatar's spot in Best Picture. So, fuck the Academy. All right, we're going to go on.
And then your surprise.
This is for original song and original score. I looked through the entire history of the awards race so far, and only in, I think, 2 other places is song or score even be nominated, let alone win or acknowledged. And one of those places was a place specifically designed to acknowledge music in film. And so it had there was never any prediction about those 2, song or score getting through. And yet they did. And that's really awesome. That helped a lot with its numbers and whatnot. But also now, David Byrne of the Talking Heads is now an Oscar nominee for original song.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. And then my last snub is the score and cinematography for the Batman.
Yeah.
Because why that is a score that nearly a year later everyone is still talking about.
I'm sorry, the fact that it didn't make the
shortlist. They couldn't.
I know, and everybody. And I remember when it didn't make the shortlist, everybody freaked out because
Michael Giacchino deserves that.
That is like his magnum opus as of right now. That is his best score he's done. And then cinematography. I'm sorry, I love Roger Deakins, and I would put the cinematography for this in over Empire of Light and a few others in that category.
I would have taken this. So well instead of Bardo.
Random.
Elvis. I would have taken this over Elvis.
Yeah, All Quiet is incredible. We want to talk about that. Top Gun didn't get a nomination in cinematography either. And that should have gotten one.
That should have gotten. There are quite a few films that
those are the. That's kind of those are the 2 kind of biggest ones for me too. With how the Batman's shot so fucking beautifully. The score is phenomenal. How did the Batman not get either of those? And did it also not get makeup?
I think it did get makeup.
It did. It got makeup. It got sound, and it got visual effects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Costume design was the one I was shocked it missed out on. Also,
maybe that's what I was thinking of. But yeah, no, Top Gun not getting in for cinematography when they literally created a camera for cockpits.
Yes.
That to me, that's just insane. Those are the 2 that should have been nominated for cinematography. But
cool. What we got left?
Yep.
All right. We got a minute left. So
yeah.
Screenplay thing. That's right. Yeah. Top Gun Maverick in there. That's wild. Didn't expect that to happen. That's weird.
And Glass Onion. The fact that they're both fucking sequels, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be adapted. They're still original. They're original. I don't care. They're fucking sequels.
Yeah. But how about this?
Yeah, how did the whale
thanks to Top Gun Maverick, the screenwriter for Terminator or for Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, and Age of Extinction, the man who was taking all of Kevin Williamson's scripts and rewriting them, he's now an Oscar nominee.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Yeah, no, I'm also just baffled that Women Talking Digging. She said,
Yes.
and The Whale didn't get adapted screenplay. To me, that's fucking bananas. I think those two films, it kind of just shows also that the Academy didn't really want to give love to a film that kind of hates on the industry of what was occurring at that time with Harvey Weinstein. But then
But
again,
they
not enough
loved
people
giving
saw the
love to
movie.
Spotlight. They loved giving love to Spotlight. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, nope, I agree. And
I'll
it
just
just,
say this: I think She Said is fine.
I
I think it's just fine.
that's what she
Geoff,
said.
I'm a sucker for a journalism film. That's journalism major.
So
I'm
am
sucker
I.
for a journalism film.
Having said that, it's fine.
Yeah. No, but I mean, dude, this is a great year for fucking film.
Yes, it
And
is.
I mean, there were some huge snubs. There was some big surprises, but I mean, I'm pretty excited and can't wait to watch the awards this
Yes.
season. So.
Nope.
But
I'm boycotting.
Yeah, that is crazy too. We should have discussed that. We'll be back, I think. Definitely.
we'll be back.
Absolutely. We'll talk about it another time. And
So with that, folks,
we gotta go.
We gotta go. Be sure to check out the Twitch stream of Taylor Plays God of War Ragnarok. That'll be starting in just a few moments here. Be sure to check that out. But until then, signing off, I'm Matt. That is Geoff, aka Quiz Show, and that is Boston Badass herself, Paige for Betty. And we will see you next time. We'll see you this Sunday for the HB Hoes talking about The Last of Us. And signing off, this was What Real Entertainment. Have a good